Hello YouTube, it's Mark from Reloaded with our next war recap, and an apology to kick this one off. We've missed a war against Persian Legend. It's a good war, they brought some good attacks, but we came out on top by 7 points. But apologies during the week. One or two of these wars are going to slip through the cracks because Supercell only let us keep the last 2 war details, and sometimes that means I might not get to record during the middle of the week, so apologies for that. And so we move on to the next war we had, which, as the clan name suggests, Hard Farm. We're a bunch of farm boys, and they didn't fill their CCs and didn't use many of their attacks because we'd kept our war bases, which wasn't what they were looking for. So a bit of a dull war in that sense. However, plenty of good attacks. As I say, they hadn't filled their CCs, so these weren't complete war attacks in that sense. So we'll watch these at double speed just to give people props for the 3-star. So this is Major coming in on their number 2, level 1 Infernos, but they're still the Eagle to have to look out for, and very low level heroes for Town Hall 11, and also very low level defenses. You've got level 1 Expo set in there, and some Town Hall 8 defenses too, so pretty rush base really. A Major just comes in with a bunch of heroes and a bunch of Valks. There's Rage, a nice jump spell to get them in through the base. The Earthquake could open up the base nicely. I like those Hogs just on at 3 o'clock. They're just taking out the defences that would have been awkward for Valks to get through because of the multiple walls and so forth, and he's getting great value from those Hogs. I mean, what is it, 6 defences from 6 Hogs, so even more. So really nice choice and nice timing and nice placement. And the benefit, what he gets for those are pretty much all the defences on the outer ring, which is where the bits where his Valks would have had to beat through quite a few walls to get through, are just taken care of. So it's just his heroes running around doing cleanup. He's got 1 Hog left over, and very nice, very clean, and the first of quite a few this war. So lovely attack, Major. Very, very nice. It's moving right along. We might even watch this one on 4 times. It wasn't even a proper base. Not quite sure what they were thinking with these. I guess this is the farm life, where it's all about letting people gain access to your loot, which is not a bad, if you're into farming, it's probably not a bad system. Don't fully understand how it works though, because only one of the 2 sides is going to get war loot. So I'm guessing they're not particularly caring about getting their full war bonus. They're quite happy with half or whatever it is that you get when you don't win a war, because if all you got to do is drop 1 wizard to get 200, 300k loot, then that's not bad, but not how we like to play the game. Anyway, let's keep cruising. Next up, we've got Uni on this base, and I quite like how she approaches this base with her Arch Queen and a few healers on one side of the base and a couple of golems on the other side of the base. So she's going to come in from the right hand side and her Queen on the left hand side. So while the Valks and King and Wizards are doing their thing on the right, her Queen is basically doing a walk, taking out all the defences on the far side of the base, and that's generally where Valks tend to struggle, because it's quite often you haven't got enough jumps to get your Valks everywhere through the base, and then they end up spending a lot of time beating up on walls. So having something, whether it's your Queen, Hogs, Loons, whatever, just to take out the defences on the far side, can just ease the second half of the raid for you a little bit. Uni's healers have switched on her away from her Queen onto the Valks. I know that means that her Queen's gone down, but I actually think that's not a bad thing, because at this point in the raid, most of the heavy lifting is going to be done by the Valkyries anyway. So being able to have the healers stay on the Valks is, I think, is actually a really good thing. And there's quite a few people deliberately try to design their raid so that this happens, so that at some point the healers switch, because the Valkyries run close to the Queen. So lovely attack and worked very nicely indeed. Coming up next, we've got Mighty Banger on another one of these raids, and Banger just goes, okay, that's fine. Will still come in, comes quite a few giant bombs there, but he's brought enough heals for his Valks. There isn't really any need for a rage at Town Hall 9 for your Valks, and once the defences are down, there isn't really much risk to the rest of his troops. So it's just running around and clean up. There's no defences left. It's just carnage really. So yeah, bit disappointing. We haven't actually encountered many hardcore war farmers. So this is kind of a bit of a novelty for us in that sense. But no trouble at all from Mighty Banger on that one. And up next we have Andrew. And another one of these kind of odd bases. And it'd be tempting when you first see these to think they've just left their kind of base design, base layout out, but I think this is just the reality of how war farmers have their base layout, because you don't want any defences near those resources, and you take up all the resource buildings with a few goblins and you're going to get 50% anyway. So anyway, that's kind of how they do it. So Andrew's just come in with a few troops. It's plenty of different ways that you can go and work your way through these bases, and then it's just a bit of cleanup, and it is what it is. Boom, not too much difficulty at all. Very nice. Moving right along, it's Andrew again on the base that at least resembles some kind of a decent base. And Andrew is going to come in here. He's got Earthquake to open up the middle and has gained access to a nice chunk of the base, just spreading a couple of archers down to get those 3 outside buildings. Comes in with 3 golems, so pretty heavy on the golems. But he's done that because he wants them to tank for all those expos and point defences in the base. So when he drops his hogs, they can just run around clean. He's got lucky here because there's nothing in the CC, so that's kind of fortunate. But I suspect he kind of knew that before the attack started, yeah, because there was nothing in any of these guys' bases. It's a bit disappointing that way, but maybe we should have popped over and asked them to put something in their CC so that we could have some decent wall practice, and in return maybe we'd have kept one of our town halls out. Maybe we'll think about that for the next time we encounter a war farmer. But Andrew's just coming in here he's got enough hogs to get the job done. More than enough hogs to get the job done, and he's still got, he's got a golem up, he's got kept wizards up his sleeve and spread them around the outside of the base. So it's really nicely executed attack. And we'll just fast forward a little bit through this cleanup because we all know what's happening next. Nice work, lovely attack. Okay, now we've got Faye coming in on their number 12. Right, he's brought a couple of golems, a few wizards, nice easy funnel for his Valkyries straight into the core. Early heal spell for them just to make sure that they're not going to get taken out by any of the point defense. Got some hogs helping do some work on the side there, and they encounter a Tesla farm, but that's not too much of a problem because quite a lot of those defenses are targeting either a golem or one of the Valkyries. Meanwhile, the Valkyries are just running rampant through the rest of the base, and pretty much there's not a lot of resistance left in the base. So Archer Queen is going to go down. There's just a couple of defences left there, but he's got plenty of Valks, and his King's on just about full health, so that shouldn't be too much of a problem. And those Valks are going to tear through that wall and then tear through what's left of the defences. You do get one on a spring trap as well, so very nice attack. Lovely work. Let's move along. 13. We've got Thor coming in with an odd placement of those golden elixir storages on the outside there, but he opens the base up with an earthquake nicely, and that gets him all the way into the core. His wizards down to build his funnel, and that's gone quite nicely. Uses Barbarian King to take out the Archer Queen. Queen goes for a bit of a wander on the outside, but I don't think that works out too badly for him. Meanwhile, the Valks are doing what they do best and just wrecking the cores of bases. Straight in, enemy King goes down, and the next thing you know, there's just a few defences on the outside left to deal with. The His queen does go down relatively early in the raid, but he's got so many Valkyries left, and these walls are pretty low level that it doesn't make any difference at all. I do think walls are probably one of the best defences against Valkyries, and it's one of those subtle things that they just tend to make the Valks have to work that little bit harder to run around the base. And the net effect of that is they just get worn down by all the point defences. It's a gradual thing, but by the time you get to the end of the raid, it just means sometimes you can be a bit short on Valks. So definitely worth keeping your walls up, even though Valks do tend to do a fair bit of damage to them. But over the course of a whole raid, it can add up. Okay, so we've got Miner coming in here with the jump spell rather than Earthquake, so that's does the same job there because it's the thin or large central compartment. Valk's straight where he wants them to go, straight into the core. They do run straight into a couple of giant bombs there, but that's fine. He's got a heal spell for them that'll keep them in good shape, and that central core is gone. A nicely placed heal spell there whilst they were up against the wizard tower, and also managed to catch his a few of his hogs in that as well. So he's got Valks on one side, he's got his queen on the other side, and she's taking very nicely taken out the one remaining splash damage that would do any decent damage to the Valkyries. But he's got loads of Valkyries up. There's not going to be any trouble taking those out. And he's got tons of Valks. His queen, he's got a wizard or two. Very, very nice. And up next we've got Jib coming in on whatever that kind of base is. That's interesting. Nice little earthquake spell there, just to soften up all that splash damage. And he's just coming in with oh goodness knows how many Valks. That was 20 odd Valks. So there's that's this base isn't. I guess you can see from the raid timer that it's not going to take very long with that many Valks. They're just going to work their way through all these defences, and he's probably going to. Oh no, he's not. He's not going to swag his raid spell. I guess it just helped all those Valks get through. Look at how many Valks he's got left. That's fabulous. Right, very nicely done. Slight bit of overkill, but we enjoy watching a bit of overkill sometimes. Okay, and then we've got Geek coming in, just the usual Zap Quake. These raids can be a bit slow because they're dragons, so we might watch this at double speed. And then it's just a case of funneling the rest of the dragons into the one remaining air defense. And just because, as I say, a nice bit of overkill is fun to watch, he's brought a Lava Hound for that one remaining air defense, just to stop his dragons from taking more damage than they need to. But it's probably a bit more than was strictly necessary on this base, but still gets the job done. And there's a builder's hut in the corner. It's probably not going to survive that many dragons. Right, let's kick it along. Eva coming in with some Valks. Quite a compact little base, this one. And the enemy Archer Queen sat right off in a corner, which is just a really odd choice. At some point, I guess they'll figure out that you want your queen somewhere inside your base, because it makes it a bit harder to take her out. But that's their choice, I guess. So Eva's coming in with a couple of golems and some wizards, just to help build a nice funnel for the Valkyries. A couple of wall breakers just to open up that first compartment, and in they go. So there's don't have to worry about the enemy CC, which is always a treat. Keeps it nice and easy. A central heal spell whilst they're working their way through the bulk of the defences. Nicely placed jump spell to get the Valks onto that point defence, and very quickly they'll take care of all the cleanup. There is a troll Tesla down the bottom if you've not spotted that. There's 3 Teslas around that Arch Queen. That's probably to a little bit of a troll base, this one. So someone who was just trying to cheaply take out the Arch Queen may have come a bit unstuck there, but Eva hasn't fallen for that. She's gone, that's fine, we'll just take care of the Queen at the end. And I'm sure my King and Queen and half a dozen Valkyries should probably be enough to get the job done. Yeah, proper troll corner, that one. Didn't help though. Nice attack, Eva. Alrighty, who have we got next? Now we've got Zimmer coming in on this base here. And he just comes in with a bunch as an absolute kind of complete line of archers on one side, and just with a bunch of Valks and Giants on the other side, and they're just going to do what they do best. He's brought his King down, only level 2 Valks because Zimmer's Town Hall 8, but they still have plenty of hit points and do plenty of damage, so it's exactly the same outcome. And we'll just fast forward through the last few seconds. It's a shame some of these raids, it's be interesting to see just how few troops were lost in the attack, because it looked like he had pretty much all these Valks left. Eva coming in again on, it's kind of a Town Hall, there's a Town Hall 9, so I'd see this base quite a bit in raid attacks. An Earthquake bang through the centre, a couple of golems in at the top, and just with the wizards there forming the nice funnel just to stop any Valkyries running anywhere other than into the base where she wants. And here they come straight down. I mean, these walls are such low level that it's brought a jump spell just to avoid them running around. Primarily once they're in the base, there's no need to worry about, look at it, boom boom, straight through the wall. So there's they'll just work their way through those pink walls very easily indeed, and just go wherever they want to go. It's not going to take them that long to tear through what's left. She has got a heal spell up her sleeve. She probably doesn't even need to use it, given that she's got a Queen's ability up, and yeah, she's going to swag that heal spell. So very nice indeed. Lovely attack. A nice piece of funneling at the start as well. Alrighty, who have we got left? Raj coming in on Leona. So we've got some Town Hall 7 on Town Hall 7 action. And we've got an air defense on the outside of the base, which is not always the best choice at Town Hall 7, given how common dragon attacks are. But Raj goes, that's fine, thanks very much. That's very kind. It's got a few loons, max loons in the CC, but soon we'll have a new level of loons, so it'll be interesting to see what they do. Just how much more overpowered dragon attacks are going to get. And we'll skip forward because dragon's relatively slow. I do like watching a whole bunch of archers under 4 speed, because they're just crazy, and yeah, it just overpowers the base. A really nice attack. Raj took advantage of the air defense on the outside very nicely. And now we've got Geek coming in on Town Hall 7. A bit of a bully attack, this one. Given that Geek is an early Town Hall 9, so we'll probably skip through this one at extra speed. There's a few buildings on the corners, but just drops a barb to deal with those. There's a bunch of giants. It's got king, queen, some wizards in behind. I think there's one heal spell for the core, and the rest is just barch. With that many level 6 giants, there's loads of tanking, so boom. Just waltz through that one. I have to apologise for this attack, but we said we didn't do him the honour. Apology. Saw this base and went for the loot, and so we saw what he'd done, and he's not with us anymore. Anyway, that's what you get for not following war strategy. But there's just a bunch of wizards, giants. Yeah, it's not much to say really. Just a bunch of troops wrecking a base that's not particularly well laid out. But that was Raj. Wasn't with us that long. Rum Punch, on the other hand, is going to come in, and Rum's, I think, Town Hall 6, so this isn't an easy base for them. But nice use of hogs in the CC with a heal spell to keep them all handy. Might have thought about maybe dropping the giants down first and helping tank for the hogs, but really it wasn't. Yeah, I didn't really. Not sure he needed the giants at all. Those hogs have just crushed the base completely, and just archers to help with the cleanup, and pretty soon it's all over. Bar the crying. Lovely weight run, very nice. And on to Lenda, which is. Yeah, what can you say? it's a tough base to crack, clearly. So checks for any troops in the CC, which is a bit optimistic on the part of Hunkett, but you never know, they could have just been some troops in the CC. You can actually tell by scouting a base beforehand by clicking on the CC, and it will tell you how much troop space are being used. But Hunkett just decides to be safe, and it's good practice. So it's good to see our younger members of the team, the earlier town halls, learning these good practices before they get up into more higher level town halls where it becomes more critical. So props to Hunkett for doing things the right way. There is actually one archer tower left, but those giants have no trouble at all taking care of that, and that is a job done. Very nice attack. And finally, we've got disaster area with another tough base, and disasters just bring in a few Barch with I can't remember what he brought in the CC now, but we'll skip this. No, yeah, that's right. It was Hogs. And then it's just spam Barch. So that's pretty much all it took. We'll fast forward through that. There wasn't many defences, and at this town hall level, 3 max Hogs are just ridiculous. So that was a bit of overpoweredness. So sorry it wasn't more exciting, guys. What can we do when we get opponents like that? But stay tuned. The next one was a good one and loads of great attacks. So hope you enjoyed. Hit like, comment, subscribe, do all those typical things that YouTubers ask. And stay tuned. We'll